Hey everyone, I'm Kendra and
I am Williams.
and we are the Ambroise family, or should I say Ambroise, okay? You have to do it with the accent, Ambroise. So we are starting a YouTube channel just talking about the goodness of God, sharing marital advice and things that we have learned through our marriage, and also just sharing how we met and our story. So we wanted to come today to just generally just talk about who we are and our story and how we met and how God brought us together.
So how did we meet? All right, so I remember it was June 20th. I texted you the first time. Then a few days prior to that it was a Saturday. A friend of mine, we were out feeding the homeless, and after feeding the homeless, we typically converse about life, relationship, challenges at work, and how to address them. And as we were conversing, he shared about you. He mentioned that I know someone that you might be interested in. And given the fact that at that point in my life, I was declining any offers for dating. I was just waiting on the Lord.
Declining offers, wow. Declining.
I said, why not? And then he reached out to you, and I think you can share that part of the story.
Yeah. Okay, so let me tell my side of the story. Basically, I went to UCF and I met a really good friend, and we still kept in contact. You know those friends that you have that you see on Facebook and you see them thriving, but you don't really hang out with them, but they're still good friends. And so I had met him in college, and I saw that he just recently graduated with his master's. So I wind up responding underneath his picture, and I said, hey, congratulations, I'm so happy that you graduated. And then not too long after that, maybe like a day or two later, he reached out to me. And I didn't know anything about Williams, but he wind up sharing with me that he had someone that, or actually no, he didn't even say anything. He just said, hey, when you get a moment, can I talk to you? And I was thinking, oh gosh, not another one, because I've had friends reach out to me about business deals and things that they wanted to kind of connect me to. So I said, oh, I was so hesitant, but I wind up responding back to him, and I was like, hey, I'm kind of busy right now, but what is it in regards to? So then maybe a day later, he responded back and he said, well, I have a friend that I'd like for you to meet. So at this time, I'm still like, a friend? I'm still thinking like, is this a business deal? I'm trying to figure it all out. And so then I said, okay, a friend, and I put a question mark in this is all through Facebook Messenger, by the way. So now I'm like hashtag Facebook. But now I'm like kind of interested because he's saying, okay, a friend. So I asked him, tell me more. And so he winds up sharing with me that he's 27 years old and that he's a project manager. Actually, no. Yeah, he said, he said executive project manager. And then I was kind of interested. My ears are perking up just a little bit more. And then he said that he loves God. And I was like, okay, we're working with something here. And that he would love, if it be God's will, he was like, I would love for you to meet him. So I'm thinking, all right, I was kind of hesitant, especially because people, when they try to hook you up, they put you with like the person that you would never even be with. I don't understand. I don't know why people think that they can be, I don't know, the hookup queen and kings, but sometimes it's not with the right person. So I was very hesitant about it, but I wind up sharing my number with my friend, and I was like, hey, if just let him know that I don't answer unknown calls. So just have him message me first. And then that's when it comes back to you.
And then I received the number. I messaged her, great rising, as my way of saying good morning. and I didn't get a message till the end of the day. But what I found interesting about her is that the response was not, hey, how are you? But she justified not messaging me back immediately, which I found different than, because she didn't have to message me. She said, hey, I was out with my cousin, she's in town, and all of that. And I'm like, wow, that's TMI. But
okay, hold on. Wait a second. I shared that I was out doing other things so that he didn't feel a little bit like I was neglecting the message. Because honestly, just in my defense, I didn't even see the message because at my previous job, I would get there so early in the morning that I wouldn't even be on my phone until I got off of work. So a lot of times I wouldn't even see my phone, or I would just be doing other things. So when I got off of work and I saw his message, I realized that he had sent that at 8 a.m. in the morning. So I didn't even look at it until later on after I got off of work. So that's why I wanted to share, because it had been almost the whole day gone by. So
nevertheless, we conversed for a little bit, and she invited me to a church event where where her and the school production performed a excellent performance. And after the performance, she came out. We introduced ourselves to each other again, and I gave her a small token of my welcome,
which I was not expecting.
And then it was history from there.
Yeah, it really was, honestly. What he got me was it was like a pink bag. I will never forget. It was like a small little pink bag, and inside it was a book that we had discussed just from us texting. And then there was like a few mangoes in there. And I was so surprised because I had told him from just our, just get our interaction through text messaging. I told him that I really liked fruits and different types of fruits, and one of them was mango. And I think we had a whole discussion about mangoes and things like that. And so for him to bring that to me, I was even more interested because he was very intentional, and I had realized that he was listening to our conversations and just being intentional about bringing that book, because that book was also about just like how to be a woman and how to understand why God created you. So yeah, you want to continue?
That's it.
Oh, that's it. Well, yeah, that's how we met. Okay, what do we do in our waiting season? So for me, what I did, I was very, very involved. Prior to COVID, I did a lot of things within my church. I served a lot. So I love children. I love little babies. So I was a part of the nursery team. I was also involved in something that we called at our church Kingdom Kids, but it's basically for it's basically an organization. Stop it. Sorry. Okay. But that was just for our younger kids. We had ages 9 through 12 years old. And so I was always involved in that, helping with the worship team, also helping with the Bible studies. And then apart from that, I was a part of the praise and worship team for the main service. So I was very involved at church. I have been going to the same church since I was a little girl. So, I mean, I grew up there. Everyone knew me when I was in little bobby socks and overalls. So, yeah, I that's what I did in my waiting season. I just served. I served in ministries. Also I want to say back in 2017 or 2016, I went to Haiti, and I started getting really involved in ministry when it called like missionary work. And my aunt, she actually started calling me Missionary Castleberry before I got married. Obviously, my last name was Castleberry, so I was always just going places, and she would laugh all the time. She's like, "Oh, where are you at this time? Where are you here?" I love to travel, so I just enjoyed my waiting season by filling it with being busy and filling it with serving others, serving people, and that's what I did in my waiting season.
All right, and for myself, during my waiting season, I also traveled, and that was prior to COVID. I traveled a lot. I did a lot of self-development, and I would go on dates here and there. However, in the awakening of the pandemic at the beginning of 2020, or at the latter part of 2019, I came to basically at a crossroad in my life in which I wanted to fully surrender to God. And after my confession of surrendering to the Lord, He led me to creating a mobile application, which will be on your Apple device as well as
Android. A whole
Android.
app, guys.
It's called Power of Prayer, a Living Guide. And it was basically a application to empower people how to pray. And during which time I was steadily in the Word. I was spending time with the Lord a lot. Also working on, continuing to work on self-improvement. And during that season, I actually had told the Lord that I'm not going to walk into any relationship without His guidance. And therefore, from a prior statement that I made earlier, anytime someone approached me about a relationship, I would always say I'm waiting on the Lord. So I was diligently waiting on the Lord. There's a Bible verse that says that he who finds a wife finds a good thing, and I became convicted in the sense that it's not the man that finds the wife himself, but the Lord leads him to find the wife. Because again, there's another Bible verse that says that the steps of a righteous man are ordered by the Lord, and He is pleased by them. So if the Lord orders the steps of the righteous, therefore it's the Lord that orders the steps of the man to find the wife.
Oh,
and therefore, I was waiting on the Lord to lead me to this lovely princess.
I love what you said just about God's timing, because it just made me think about how I was writing letters to my future husband, because I knew that definitely God had to be in it. I couldn't try to decide, or I couldn't try to choose, because who I chose would probably not even be anything comparable to what God chose for me. And so in my waiting season, I decided to also wait on God's timing and just start writing letters. And so it was almost like a way of me telling God that as I wait for you, you continue to teach me things, and I'm going to write it down. I'm going to record it so that when I do meet Him, I will know exactly who He is based on what was written, based on what I had basically prayed about. And so that was another thing that I did in my waiting season too. It was just writing down all of those prayers, all of those letters of just different days. I mean, I would go through seasons where I'm like, where is He? Like, time's a ticking. But I just remember God saying, hold on, hold on. And I still had fun, you know, I still went out, I still went on dates and things like that. But if I didn't feel it, I mean, oh, you best believe I was like, all right. Deuces. I guess I declined those offers too. But I was always just like very more so on the mindset of, God, you have to show me, and if it's not the door you want me to open, then please close it. And like most times, practically every time, I would just notice something about them that didn't add up. And I would just be so gung-ho at first, because the way my personality is, I'm very loving, I'm very kind, I'm just open to everybody. And so God had to show me, hey, no, this is not the one for you. And I'm very glad, I'm so thankful that God led me to Williams, because everything, I'm not even joking with you, everything that I had written down in that book is who He is, and honestly more than what I could have even thought. So just in that waiting season, I know for a lot of you that may be watching, it can be difficult because, you know, you're looking at that watch and you're looking at that calendar. But God has a perfect plan for each of you. And also just want to encourage everyone who's watching this, that God ordains our steps. Every single moment, every day is ordained by God if you allow Him to come into your life. So just know that even in this waiting season, it's going to be worth it. It's going to be so worth it.
Yes, it is.